Hello, my name is Ash and welcome back to another video. Now I know that I've been talking a lot about Disney and I know that some people may be getting a little bit bored of that, a little bit sick of me talking about Disney. So in this video, I am going to be talking about Disney erotica. I'm changing it up slightly. You know, I'm going a different direction. So I'm going to be holding your hand as we dip our toes into the river of Disney erotica. Or actually no, we're going to be fully submerged. We're going to dive in fact. We're going to get fully wet. I'm going to get you wet with Disney erotica. Quote me on that. So I'm going to be reading the story about Elsa and Jack Frost. Obviously Jack Frost doesn't normally hang out with Elsa, but obviously someone's written a story about them because they're two people who like the cold, and obviously naturally they will come together and probably will come together in this erotic novel. This is going to be slightly graphic. So there will be some words, I think, that will not be of they'll be of a mature nature. So if you are interested in hearing Elsa get down and dirty with Jack Frost, then you are a pervert and this video is for you. So let's read this story. I'm going to get my glasses on for this because, you know, you gotta be able to see what I'm reading. Now this story is called The Cold Never Bothered Us Anyway. A very original, very good story. I don't know how they came up with that one. The cold never bothered me, Jack finally whispered before leaning in and slowly kissing her. Oh, we've started straight in the middle of it. Their cold lips met and Elsa was a bit shocked. Well, she would be on cold lips. It's like kissing a dead body. No one had ever kissed her before because she never let anyone in. Well, she's about to let somebody in. His lips felt soft and comforting. How does cold lips feel soft and comforting? And she kissed back on instinct. He pulled her closer to him, her body flush against his chest as they captured each other in a passionate kiss. This wasn't anything close to love. Oh, this was boring. Despite being constantly cold, a burning heat began to form in Jack's lower abdomen. As he got closer to Elsa, he should probably get that checked out. He pushed her against the icy bed. Well, he's got to be careful because if he's got a heat burning, he might melt that icy bed. And that was when Elsa felt the evidence of his arousal. This is a real Sherlock Holmes, that one. His cock was hard and heavy against the seams of his pants as he ground into Elsa like ground beef, who unconsciously pushed back. If she's unconscious, now that's a whole nother thing right there. I don't really think she should be unconscious. You are wearing too many clothes, my queen. What a line. Jack smirked and rolled his eyes, slowly sliding her dress down off her body. Elsa had never been exposed to anyone in her life, but knowing Jack Frost, she felt completely comfortable in his cold arms, like a dead body. His cold arms. Jack, Elsa murmured, as she was finally unclothed, the cold air stinging her skin and causing her nipples to become hardened peaks, like little ice gems. You ever those little snacks, ice gems? I'm gonna put a little photo here. It's an ice gem. Jack moaned as he kissed down her neck and chest, latching onto one of her milky white breasts, biting and kissing it. Why are her breasts lactating? A little frozen milk, a little bit of ice cream, like a little soft serve dispenser. My gosh. The noises Elsa was making wasn't helping the situation either. Her voice echoed throughout the ice palace. Little bursts of flurries, like little McFlurries, just shooting out of her nipples. Jack released her breast and finally stripped himself of his hoodie and pants, but his icy blue boxers covered the throbbing heat of him. He's still throbbing heat. His mouth travelled down the woman's body and Elsa's body, kept going south until he reached her core. Compass out. It was already sopping wet with her juices. It could be from the icy bed. Remember, there was a lot of heat. That bed could be melting. And Jack kissed her inner thigh, nibbling a bit to make her squirm. May I, your majesty? He joked, and Elsa whined. Jack took that as a yes. Never take that as a yes. You need a full consent. You need her to say yes. This story, unconscious, not given a clear consent. Jack took that as a yes before sticking a probing tongue in between her folds. Now to me, folds is like the skin. Like Elsa put on like 500 pounds because to me like the folds, like, you know, lifting it up and licking that dry skin. Elsa let out a surprised cry as Jack began to lick and suck at her clit. Her hands immediately fly into his snow-white hair. She was so beautiful and debauched that Jack wanted to give her everything, but he certainly was trying. Elsa cried out as her orgasm overtook her. Her very first orgasm. We've experienced that together. We've just experienced Elsa's first orgasm. Get a little badge. When you go to Disney, like your first visit at Disneyland, you get like, I visited Disney for the first time. Well, we can get little badges that say I experienced Elsa's first orgasm. He helped her ride out the waves of pleasure by sticking a single finger inside of her. Jack! Elsa moaned loudly, and he moved upwards, kissing her neck. He was about to reply, but was immediately cut off when Elsa's cold hand grabbed at his cock. No one besides himself had ever touched him, so the feeling was quite foreign, but welcomed nonetheless. Her hand moved slowly up and down his penis. Her thumb, I'm not reading that. Her thumb smearing the pre-cum on its head. I'm uncomfortable. Elsa! Oh, Elsa! Jack was whispering. Elsa! Oh, Elsa! Jack was whispering. Thrusting up into her hand. She giggled slightly before sliding his underwear down. Now that's not really a sign of confidence when the other person's giggling. When she pushed back against him, Jack slowly entered her. Elsa let out a long, drawn-out moan as the winter spirit filled her entire being. Was he like possessed by a demon? Surprisingly, it didn't hurt as Elsa had originally thought. It was more of a soft burn, a skin. He's spreading his burn to her. I think they probably should, after this, go to the doctor, take a test, get some cream or something. Move, she commanded, and Jack did as he was told. The very first thrust of his hips was incredible. Waves of pleasure shot through Elsa's spine and her brows knitted together. What does that mean? Like the face Elsa was put in. Jack Glenn began to pick up his pace, setting the punishing rhythm as he thrusted into Elsa. Her soft little gasp spurred him on, sucking and kissing a spot in the crook of her neck. He loves the crooks and the folds, doesn't he, this boy? And upon a particularly hard thrust, Elsa cried out in ecstasy. Jack! Oh, Jack, do that again. Wait, it doesn't sound, hang on. Jack, oh, Jack, do that again. Elsa demanded. She's very demanding, and Jack obeyed, hitting the same spot inside her with tremendous accuracy. Her nails clawed into the skin of his back, drawing a bit of blood as she knew something was coming. The fire that was burning in her belly had now turned into an inferno again. They really need to see a doctor after this. That fire is spreading. Elsa was afraid. She was scared about what was happening. For that case, so she was unconscious. She didn't give consent, and now she's afraid. Jack, she warned, digging him harder as her inner muscles began to clench. Jack could feel it, and he leaned close to her ear, never stopping his beautiful rhythm. Let it go, Elsa. There we are, we got it. You couldn't have a story about Elsa and erotica and not have Let It Go. I'm glad we've got that. Let it go, Elsa, his voice murmured, and that was all it took. It was like Elsa had jumped off a 300-foot cliff into a pool of warm water. It's very specific. Her orgasm claimed her body and she climbed or screamed into the high heavens. Many bursts of snow erupting above them, flurries everywhere. He began to moan uncontrollably into her ear, his heart racing, and he could feel the pulse in his member inside of her. With each thrust, his moans got louder, and his eyes closed tighter. Oh! Jack moaned loudly, and with one final thrust, his inner coil snapped. That doesn't sound very pleasurable. He definitely needs to go to the doctor. His inner coil snapped, and she pulsed into her. His inner coil snapped. His cock throbbed. With every beat of his heart. A shot of... Get ready for this. Get ready, okay? A shot of hot seed filling Elsa's inside with each throb. He gasped and moaned all throughout his orgasm, the sparks shooting up and down his spine as he pressed deep inside Elsa, his body not letting him move until every last drop of his was released from him. When both of their orgasms had finally finished, Jack and Elsa stared at each other, basking in the warm afterglow of their STI. "Thank you, Jack," Elsa whispered as he pulled out a bit of his seed leaking out onto her thigh. "Thank you for being here for me." He wrapped his arms around her, kissing her cheek. "I'm not going to leave you. There's no way I'm going to leave my queen anytime soon." And with that, a cool sleep fell upon the winter spirit and the snow queen. After all that, after 10 minutes of pure hot passion, it ends with a cool sleep fell upon the winter spirit and the snow queen. What does that even mean? Well, that brings us to the end of Disney Erotica. The cold never bothered us anyway. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know I certainly did. Well, if you're a fan of Disney Erotica, and I know that you are, I am going to be writing my own Frozen-based erotica short story where Sven takes Anna up the North Mountain. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked the video, of course, like and subscribe. And if you did like this video, then again, you are a pervert. Thank you for watching. I've been Ash. Until next week, until I make another video, have a good week. Bye bye.